Not sure everybody can see the screen there. What's exciting about this is we're coming back here with 3 returning characters, 3 brand new characters. You know, Aquaman, Superman, Batman, everybody is aware of. But, you know, the introduction of Supergirl, which is really exciting. The Flash's villain, Gorilla Grodd.
Oh, wow.
Is also a lot of fun. He plays, you know, different than you'd expect. And Atrocitus, who is kind of like, you know, a big, red, angry version of Green Lantern.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you can think of him as that way. Red Lantern. He's the opposite of Green Lantern in almost every way. But you know, I guess we can go ahead and start the gameplay with them and give you an idea of this new system that we're introducing in Injustice 2. You know, with Injustice, you know, we always say, oh, you know, it's big battle of the gods, huge destruction, transitions, multiple arenas. It's awesome. And with the sequel, of course, we're going to add new characters, you know, and expand on that whole thing. But the gear system, what we're calling the gear system, is really like the foundation of what is brand new, what we're bringing to the table, differentiated from Injustice, as well as differentiating it from other fighting games.
Wow, very cool. So, like with each match that you fight, you'll be grabbing gear, or how does that work?
Yeah, so like after a fight is done, you're going to acquire some gear, and the gear actually powers up your character. So every character in the game has thousands and thousands of, you know, boots, utility belts, cowls, capes, insignias, and when you finish playing the game, it's kind of like XP. You know, you're getting a drops of gear.
Sure.
And you get to actually apply them to your character, and they power your character up in different ways. You know, defense. You know, your strength, your abilities that you use in the you know, with your special moves and your health meter, and you are in a constant process of leveling up.
So
yeah.
Now, does this carry on to like online also? Like, will I be able to face like, you know, like, you know, Superman versus my Superman, where it's decked out differently?
Yeah, and you know what you said is really key. It's like your Superman,
right,
your Batman, your Aquaman against somebody else's, and it's all personalized, and it is you literally customizing, molding your version of these characters that go up against somebody else's.
I love that idea because you see so often, you know, there's certain characters who will be more popular than others, and you know, you see a lot of mirror matches. But now, like you said, like you can have your, you know, maybe I'll focus on like more offense type gear, you know, versus maybe Swifter's defense type, you know, gear.
Exactly.
Sounds very
You
cool.
notice here there's this big transition. You can throw your opponent into a new arena where there's a whole new palette of you know, objects that you can actually use in the fight. That was, you know, something that really resonated with the last Injustice, and we really wanted to bring it over. You know, and you look at these characters again, you know, with Atrocitus. You know, he's all about, you know, anger and hate and blood. So he has all these kind of blood moves. He can bring out, you know, the
and flying cats.
Yeah. His name is Dexstar, and he's actually also a Red Lantern in the DC lore.
Wow.
And so Atrocitus can bring him out, use him, and he actually aids in the battle of the fight. You know, yeah, it's exciting. And you know, Gorilla Grodd is all about, you know, big kind of primal moves mixed in with telekinetic moves. He's blasting them down back into the street arena where...
I was just going to say, and here we see the environmental interaction again.
Yeah, going busting through walls, bouncing off. You
Exactly.
feel the power of like these attacks.
Oh yeah. And you know, we always describe it as like the battle of the gods. You know, so you know, Grodd here is his.
That's what I love seeing too. Just like these two brawlers beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah, the variety of characters in this game is actually going to be even wider than the last one. So here is what we were talking about in terms of the gear. You know, like when you finish a round, your characters are leveling up. You know, you see the stats of their strength and all that. But then this gear that you're rewarded with, you know, the Curse of Rage, his new arms for Atrocitus, and Grodd has these. You can also be awarded gear for other characters.
Yeah, I just noticed.
If you want to level up your other characters, it kind of gives you an incentive to really build up the entire cast.
That is very cool.
That is all. I'm actually really, really excited about like the loot drop system and like looking at like, oh, if I face off against a man, he's got like, oh, that awesome gauntlet. Like, what am I going to do? Like, counter that or whatever.
Exactly. Or when you go online and you see somebody wearing some crazy crown, you're like, you know, where did you get that? You know, and so there's a lot of you know, kind of like this big collection mechanic going on.
Oh man, when is this coming out? I'm sorry, I'm like jumping to that, but I just want to play.
No, of course.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got to wait until 2017.
Oh,
for
bad boy!
Yeah, yeah, but it's going to be worth the wait. You know, like we were saying. You know, there's bigger roster of characters. This whole gear stuff is going to be so exciting, and just the another great opportunity is with the first Injustice. There's always characters who didn't get in the roster.
Of course.
And a bunch of angry people that
Right.
characters didn't get into the game. So a lot of it is satisfying those people, wanted to see Atrocitus, wanted to see Super.
Yeah, comic book fans in particular could be pretty
Oh my
vocal
God.
when they are
Yeah.
not listening to
And it's a great thing. I'd rather have people passionate about it, even if passion.
That's a nice, polite way to put it.
Yeah. No, absolutely. People care, and these games, of course, they're fans of just Injustice itself. Like we were talking about earlier, the comic book Injustice has really taken off, and fans just love the setting, like the story that the first game brought.
Oh, it was fantastic. It was such a great kind of summary of the events leading up to the first game. That's what was so cool about it. And yeah, he's really has anger issues.
Like you said, I love that idea that you guys come from the perspective that it's like the gods, like just these beings with like ultimate powers, just throwing down.
Exactly. It's kind of like thinking of you have these super powered beings all kind of assembled, and a story that kind of gives them a reason to want to beat the crap out of each other.
Yeah. So, are there any changes to like the combo system or like the mechanics? I'm sure you guys are still kind of tweaking that, of course.
Yeah, we're always refining it. We every game we really want to add nuances that not only can be appreciated by kind of casual guys, but the hardcore fighting game guys. We really a list that's like 80% of what we ended up being. As we write the story, we have these very detailed kind of cinematic stories that we do. The writers, need characters that they can, a certain amount of villains, certain amount of heroes, and we want to be able to accommodate that. And DC also, joins the conversation, and then of course, the passionate players who really let their points be heard on Twitter and social media.
And through the mailbox and shouting outside your house, I'm sure, and everything.
Yeah.
We're having a look at some gameplay right here. Gorilla Grodd already going at it.
Yes, two of the new additions to our roster. Gorilla Grodd, who's the villain of the Flash, and Atrocitus, who was kind of like a big, angry, bloody Red Lantern, kind of almost like the opposite of Green Lantern. Who's and Atrocitus is kind of like an anti-hero, but he's got a lot of anger issues. And but they're so far two of our big brawler characters. Grodd's kind of interesting in that he has these kind of big gorilla ape moves, but he also has kind of telekinetic moves, which is like kind of like a Kenshi or an Ermac or something like that. It's a great combination of the two.
We'll talk about the gear system in a second, but how is the fighting developed? Is it very much similar to Injustice, the first one we played 2 years ago?
The groundwork is Injustice. I mean, we're with every game we try to add layers for players to kind of learn and master. Like a lot of these. The fighting game tournaments, the hardcore guys, we're really into the whole esports thing. We've been doing with Mortal Kombat X and the first Injustice. We've been participating pretty heavily into the tournament scene, and so we've added a number of kind of like lower level stuff that some players may never quite experience, but the hardcore guys who really want to dig deep can really devour.
And talk to us a little bit about the gear system. So how does this work? Is it just like unlocks? Is it purely aesthetic?
Sure. It's gear, and probably in the simplest of terms, I would describe gear as costume pieces that actually power up your character. So, when you finish a fight, we're going to have these drops where basically, and the victory screen also rewards you with this gear. And you have the choice of, equipping your character with that gear or not. And so there's a molding, so to speak, of as you keep getting gear, you keep, deciding if you want to use it. and you want to focus on offense or defense or enhance certain moves or unlock certain moves, and you'll see here that the gear is being rewarded, and the player has the opportunity to equip their character with that gear right away, or to kind of save it in a like a
vault or
yeah, exactly, and then they can equip their player for certain missions or something like that if they really want to beef up their defense or offense or enhance this one move or something like that. And that kind of customization really results in visually and gameplay wise, it's your Grodd, it's your Superman, your Batman, your Aquaman, and that's really the kind of foundation of what we're building our main gameplay around.
Go for a bit.
I've got a question. Who is this rocket-powered cat that keeps flying in from
He is also, Atrocitus is a Red Lantern. There's a whole spectrum of colors, and he is actually another Red Lantern. His name is Dexstar. It's part of the DC lore, and they're kind of they kind of work together. And so we incorporated him into the fighting. He shoots projectiles.
Oh yeah, look.
He does all these.
Oh man,
he's adorable.
He is.
And then, and we have a.
You're speaking to a good crowd here as well. Two of us are cat lovers.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's awesome. People who know the Atrocitus, kind of backstory and lore will really appreciate his cameo there.
How is the gear stuff going to play into what you were talking about earlier with esports? Are you going to lock that stuff out? Is it,
Yeah, well, certainly, with the gameplay changes are you're going to have a significantly more powerful version of Superman after you've been, gearing him up and leveling him up. So we will obviously have something to level things out for things like tournaments and whatnot, because you don't want to have somebody coming in with a level 50 Superman against a level 1 Batman or something like that. But we certainly have plans to do like a more level playing field version.
DC are also keeping pretty busy on their own media front. The development of Batman versus Superman, has that affected your development at all, or like even Supergirl, like what they're doing there? Has any of that sort of bled into what you're doing in Injustice?
No. What their super moves are like.
Let's see Grodd and Superman face to face, and I definitely want to see my man Batman go against Aquaman, who you somehow made cool.
Yeah. That was Aquaman's shark super move was probably one of the most biggest wow moments that we had in the first Injustice game, and starting this game off right off the bat, we decided we have to top that. I think we actually managed to top it. For some people who've seen it, it's really perhaps the coolest super move that we've made to date. But the first Injustice game set such a high bar for that stuff. It's really becoming tough to think of.
Right now we're seeing kind of their default gear sets, right? This is how you start.
Yeah.
How does that progression system work?
Well, after the match, the players during the victory scheme will see basically drops of gear, and the gear is not only just like a visual aesthetic, like you can actually Superman has like a certain headgear that'll get, but it actually affects your gameplay. It actually powers up, and so there's a number of ways, whether it's your strength, your defense, your special abilities. You can enhance your abilities. You can actually unlock moves. And so your character is constantly in this process of being upgraded. You're literally molding your characters together and creating your version of Superman. So your version of Superman after, let's say, 3 weeks of time of leveling him up is going to look different than mine, and it's also going to have different attributes, and you might have a move that's unlocked that I don't. So it's a very personalized version of the characters.
And there's thousands of variations, right?
Absolutely. There's I don't want to use the word infinite, but it's way up there. It's crazy how that's really like one of the goals that we're with our games that we've been trying to do is to add customization and things that like where the player is involved in kind of shaping the character. That's the theme of this game.
Got it. So basically what you're saying is there's no way you could ever see this at EVO. How do you normalize it for competitive play? That's what people want to know.
Yeah, we are absolutely going to have a mode of play that is kind of like a normalized, more even level playing field of the characters. We really want people to get into the to the building up of their characters, but at some point we need a competitive aspect the Evos and all the other great fighting game tournaments that are going on, and so we need some avenue, and we will have an avenue of an even play field.
Well, what about just people like me who are like okay at the game, but I'm not like a top tier player? Is there going to be a ranked mode?
Oh, yeah.
And in ranked mode, will I be fighting people with crazy gear sets?
I suspect, well, the game doesn't come out until 2017, so we haven't fleshed out all the details, but I would imagine exactly like you had said, if somebody wants to play ranked with their leveled up character, we should provide them some kind of a venue for that. And at the same time, somebody might want to play in a tournament kind of setting and rank himself with that. So I'd be surprised if we didn't accommodate both of those players.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to take a look at Batman and Aquaman on a different map, ideally.
Yes.